Hey y'all, Peter Bros Golf Show, back at it again. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
That is Marcus. So, bro, we have had, I guess, a generally boring weekend of golf. But we're gonna cover it all. We're gonna hit all the
Yeah,
high points. Talk a little bit of live, PGA Tour struggling with the same old, and DP World Tour. Even though the event looks solid, kind of a no-namer that
yeah.
took that title. So let's go PGA Tour side. Harry English won his fifth tournament. I saw a Twitter post and I couldn't relocate it. People, I think it was a gag saying that Hudson Swafford wins in his first return to the PGA Tour after being kicked off of LIV. And the crazy thing is the that's why I hate Twitter slash X is the idiots in the comment section that were literally saying that's why the live needs to just take over the PGA Tour. Clearly, the competition is higher over there. I was like, these fucking idiots, bro. It was so bad in the comment
Come
section
again?
and the post, huh?
I said, come again, fool? That was some
Fools,
foolish shit to
multiple
say.
fools,
Yeah.
multiple fools. And the fact is, the tournament concluded on Saturday, so I saw it late yesterday. So it had been up for a full 24 hours, and the comments were just rolling in until you'd get down in the line and people would say, "Y'all know this is Harry English that has been on the PGA Tour, never left." Like I get it. They both went to Georgia, similar look, kind of, names are very kind of just pure
Cool.
Midwestern American names. So, anyway, overall, kind of a lackluster end. I watched the final round multiple times because they replayed it 15 different times already.
They're
Um,
replaying it again
but
tonight.
it's like, come on.
5 hours of
I guess
coverage,
they
8-1.
I guess they did not play or record the APGA, which has been playing on the Sunday after the Farmers the last couple of years. So they actually had that live last year. I haven't seen that at all. I just saw one little picture on Instagram about it. So that was unfortunate that we got no look at the APGA playing on that course.
It was live.
But yeah, so would they actually had it on?
They had it on. I think the coverage officially started like 3:45 and went until about 6:30 our time. It was a playoff in it
Okay.
as well. Yeah, I don't know why they won't replay
And
that, but that was on TV as well on Sunday.
right, yeah, just one. Just give me a replay. I'm just saying. I saw I was watching football, so um flipped it
Right.
on football because those games were actually decent. Well, at least the second game was. So anyway, so the Farmers Insurance, what'd you think, man? I mean, we're getting to see new names. Harry English is um not new to this, but what do you think?
I mean, I thought the course presented well. Um, I thought the coverage was actually better this week. I felt like we got a lot more golf in. It was still a bunch of yapping, but there was golf going on in the background. Um, it's tough when you're dealing with that pace though. I mean, when those guys are literally practice swinging you to death on TV and you have to sit there and watch their whole routine and then the next guy goes through and does the same thing. Yeah, it's just more and more apparent that we need a shot clock and we need rangefinders out there, bro. Like, just
Yeah,
get even if
we
the
keep talking.
coverage.
Go
We
ahead.
keep talking about it, but like, bro,
Every week it's been
every
bad.
week,
I
man,
mean,
get this shit down to 4.5 hours, bro. Like,
yeah, and we had so the final group threesome played in 5 hours and 29 minutes. The conditions were pretty benign. I mean, we're not talking crazy wind gusts and anything that would require a bunch of step offs. It was
Right.
just bad. Harris English is not a fast player, but very deliberate. The other two guys, Pottinger, um, kind of an up and comer, but he wasn't really in the tournament.
Right.
In the back of nine, I don't know, man. They
He
literally have to
faded
do
pretty
something.
fast.
Yeah, Dottie Pepper said, I think we're starting to need a new word to talk about this pace of play issue, and it's respect for your fellow competitors, for the fans, for the broadcast, for all of it. It's just got to get better. And imagine if you're following that around and you love golf, right? I mean, these are people around golf that love the game of golf, but the 5.5 hours in actual play, in the final group
Can't
is
do it, bro.
beyond ridiculous. That's a
Yeah.
long day, and this is what um this is what people talk about when they give some credence to live as the shotgun start and everybody's kind of finishing around the same window. But imagine how long the day is out at Farmers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Harris English, yeah, he hadn't been playing well um quite some time, right? He plays well enough to keep his card, stays, you know, keeps his card, but has not really performed very well. A lot of his
Yeah.
success came very early in his career. But yeah, not necessarily a name that casual fans are gonna gravitate to. Very nice swing. And they were really obsessing about his new grips, playing the Golf Pride latest version of their grip. I think it's the sensor evolved version of their sensor grip.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we were missing a ton of people. So Morikawa was out. Xander Schauffele dropped late.
Yeah.
Just some other smaller name guys. We're gonna see Scotty for the first time this week. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of ho hum, bro. I mean, it was rough. Thank God they just kind of. I mean, they weren't going to try to compete with football. They've gone to this schedule, and I think it makes sense because they would have got crushed in the ratings on
Yeah.
Sunday, trying to go head to head with the playoffs. So yeah, there was one other note that I was going to talk about. Oh, we talked. The OCD guy from Instagram. Really, it was a Twitter
Yeah.
post that Zyre Golf condensed into a nice little package. Go check that out. Zyre Golf, probably a couple of rows down on their feed since they post so much. It was just a guy going through the coverage, how many shots he actually saw. I think people hate seeing putts rolled in on the coverage, which I tend to agree. I would like to see more approach shots. What do you think? Between approach shots, kind of walk and talk, drives, short game, putting, what would you like to see more of in the coverage?
Well, I think, I mean, just from years past, I mean, as we've all seen, the putts that they show typically go in, so it gives, more of a favorable TV presence to that. You never know what you're going to get with an approach shot. The guys could, fly the green or go into the bunker and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more unpredictable when you come and see the approach shots. But I agree. I mean, seeing shots off the tee, seeing full swings, seeing how guys go about the routine going into full shots. I think that would definitely be more appeasing. But they're gonna have the greens, they're gonna have the cameras up by the greens and then, zoom out from there. But they've been doing a lot of drone work and stuff now. So hopefully
Yeah.
that gives us an opportunity to see more approach shots coming in.
Something that was off is that one, they're not using shot tracer enough, especially on approach shots. They need to do a lot better job of implementing that into the coverage in real
Uh-huh.
time. And I did notice that when they were using it with drives, the accuracy of that, because they were trying to go with this overhead shot tracer type of look, and there were a couple where it just did not end up where they projected it. It wasn't even
Yeah.
close. And I'm just like, I get it. Tory is probably a lot of slope to it. and it may be hard to track it. I don't know what they need to figure out there because they're going to be back in a couple of weeks for the Genesis, and I just don't know. Like that's the one thing that I'll give Liv credit on. They use a lot of shot tracer, and it helps out, especially being able to kind of get a feel for the course and where shots are landing, um, and better be able to get a feel for what's going on. The around the green shots again, I gave them kudos when they were in Hawaii at Waialae, really giving us some below the green shots. You know that these green complexes have slope to them and that they
Yeah.
may be elevated. And we're just seeing what looks like a flat, 2D visual image. And I think it's bad when it's always that overhead over the from the tower look. Like you said, with a little bit of drone footage mixed in, it's really hard to get a feel for the depth of the courses. So I think they have a few things that they still need to figure out. It's like, they'll do some good things for a week or two and then abandon it. And I know it's the difference between the NBC and the CBS coverage. So I know that plays a part, but week to week, it feels very not very cohesive. Hey,
I
Bobby, how
think
you doing,
it's
man? It's been a long time.
I think it's also has to do,
Impressive shot circulation.
unfortunately. Go ahead.
No, I'm just reading out Bobby's comment here.
Like I also think it has
Impressive
to
shot
do
circulation.
with they're doing the elevated events for the Century compared to a full field event, and then unfortunately you split in coverage trying to get the APPGA, especially like on Saturday where they had their first round, and they were playing on the opposite course. So they were playing on the south
Mm-hmm.
course, and then the pros were playing on the north course, the finishing course, and then so I think that might have been another case of why we weren't able to get a lot of behind the golfers shots besides the tee balls and stuff like that. But I think,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really not an excuse when you've been given a lot of money now to produce better quality stuff. So I think with these next 2 weeks, I think we'll definitely get I definitely think we'll get a better product and we'll be able to see a lot more shot tracers and things like that again.
That's crazy. A little bit. I'm a little OCD on some stuff. Um, I I don't know, bro. I just feel like I want the PGA to succeed because I feel like they have some momentum on their side,
Yeah.
but feels like they fuck it off. It feels like they really try to fuck it off. Um, so anything else from PGA before we go on to TGL?
Um, Honestly, I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with Trusso set you free. I mean, it wasn't a lot of notables out there, but also I still do think it's refreshing to see new names on the leaderboard. I just the golfer in me wants to see, every now and again a fresh product. We don't always have to,
Mm-hmm.
weigh on Rory and weigh on Tiger and all those guys to, continue to move the needle. But I guess for the casual fan, it would make sense to get views and, notables and stuff like that. But, as we continue to notate, the niche golfer is always going to be excited to see newcomers and stuff like that. Like Sam Stevens came out of nowhere, had a chance, kind of screwed himself on 18, just didn't hit enough club, and then end up still almost holding it for a birdie off his drop, playing that crazy like flop shot from like 30 or 40 yards or whatever and hitting the flag and being able to save par or whatever. But he kind of messed himself up, and then Nowak or whatever. I think that's the crazy part is you look at the TV coverage. I mean, everybody will be able to because they're going to replay it again, and then they're probably going to play it again tomorrow as well at some point.
Right.
But
Right.
it seemed like he was the only one that was ready to play. If you look at it, it felt like he
Yeah.
already kind of had some things in his mind that he was trying to accomplish, and he wasn't really sitting over the ball a lot or practice swinging a lot and stuff like that. mean, I feel like his pace was as quick as his tempo on his swing. So just something to note. It's always a couple of people that mess up the flow for everybody else. And that was unfortunate for Nowhere because
But
I
that's
think if they probably would have played faster,
yeah.
he probably would have been a little bit more in contention.
Yeah, that's why I think that it has to be a kind of a no tolerance policy
For
across the
everybody.
board
Agreed. Yeah.
and for everybody.
Yeah.
That way, one, it just produces a better product on TV. It keeps things moving. I think it's why the TGL deal is working out very well as a TV product.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, good golf
There's
does
no
not have to
picking
take
favorites.
forever. Yeah, just indiscriminately. You look, you take over the time. We've played around with different numbers. I think by the way the rules are written, it's like a minute. Because you should have already sorted out your yardage. You should just then be in your mental prep, practice swings, whatever, and then get into the shot. So we'll see what they do. But this is now that commentators are speaking out. I feel like something has to happen on an enforcement level. So I'm
Yeah.
fingers crossed that by the end of the year they get it together because this is something we've had to talk about routinely and just this early part of the season multiple times. Let me
I
pull up.
just
Go ahead.
just to kind of conclude that I think the people, the producers and the production people, they need to say something because it's costing them
Hmm.
money. You're trying to go on to your regularly scheduled, program situation, and the golf is being elongated. And then now all of a sudden we got to go back to Golf Channel just to get
Yeah.
just to get the live coverage back. Like you should be able to do your presentation, have them, Amanda Borealis or Cara Banks, whoever between NBC and CBS, they should be able to get their final interviews in right as the coverage is ending. This should be a lot. And again, I guess they should be planning it out a little bit more on the front end as far as the finish. But if they continue to let this pace go, we're going to continue to see Golf Channel finishes. And they don't want to see Golf Channel finishes because the numbers are already down with Golf Channel and
Yeah.
they're
You're gonna
already
lose
trying to go
people.
away from there. Right.
Yeah.
You need people that don't have cable to continue to watching this shit. So you need to see more
Yeah.
finishes on NBC and CBS, not Golf Channel where they have to pay for and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or you're just not able to get the same amount of heavy hitting advertisers that are going to move over. I'm sure you have some kind of really basic standard stuff that runs on Golf Channel. So
Right.
you lose the big money advertisements, and I just think advertise. This is what pisses advertisers off. Yeah, the window's bigger, but then you're getting less bang for your buck as you're kind of stretching that window out. People may see it more, but again, I think you're dealing with some diminishing returns at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, the window's wider, but you're losing eyes on the product. So do you really get the value out of that? So yeah, bro, they got to figure it out. I'm gonna pull up this blurb from Golf Channel, and it's related to the TGL numbers the first few weeks. I think tonight's
Hmm.
numbers are probably going to be their best so far.
Completely agree, Andy. As we typically do.
Yep. Yep. Stroke penalties got to be two-stroke
And you got to do it
penalty.
right then and there. You got to do it right then and there. Talk to
You
him
get a
right after the
warning.
green. Hey, yeah, you got a bad
Yep.
time. Second bad time. Hey, look, bro, this your second bad time. It's a penalty right there. It's a stroke. And then if you continue to have bad time, then you just accumulate. You go from a stroke to
Yep.
two or so on and so forth, or keep it at two or whatever. But multi-million-dollar tournament, two strokes is going to make a big difference, whether that be on Thursday
Right.
or Sunday.
So here are the numbers for the first 3 weeks, excluding tonight, of course. So first night, just a little bit less than 1 million. Second night with Tiger's team, even though he got embarrassed, it was a blowout. So week 1 and 2 were both blowouts either way.
Yeah.
But intrigue for the first night. Second night, figuring out what's going on with Tiger. We hadn't seen him since last year. He didn't even participate in his own tournament this year. So, of course, the eyes were on him. Third week, definitely a big fallout. And I think that was a result of kind of the not close results. I think people generally like the concept of it. I'm seeing really positive comments, even though you can't really, I mean, Instagram's kind of the unofficial poll. Instagram to me trends negative. So if people don't like stuff, they will absolutely say they don't like it. And they're not
Yeah.
hesitant about saying what they don't like. But I'm seeing positive comments around TGL, the concept, and we shared between us. It's too much to kind of display in a way that makes sense. But this guy named Rick Golfs on Twitter had this really long post about viewing it in person, and he brought up some really good points, one of which you brought up, which was the fact that the players commentary was not, you couldn't hear it inside here the stadium live, right? We get to hear it on
Right.
TV because it is mainly a TV product, but those that are on site, I guess, are getting a different experience, which is totally understandable. They're seeing it in real time. Maybe there is some ability, depending on where they're at on that course, to be able to hear them around the putting greens, etc. When they're out hitting full shots, that's kind of in the middle of that stadium. But again, week 3, horrible. Tonight they had Tiger and Rory, and if you haven't seen it, I won't tell you the final results, but it was a closer match, and they actually went into a playoff, which I thought the playoff format was actually decent. I mean, it's a new concept, so I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with it, right? I didn't recoil like this is garbage. This doesn't feel like a good finish to this. I thought it was
Mhm.
actually pretty good. It was comparable to, soccer, hockey with the shootout type of completion,
Yeah.
and requires skill because you're chipping. So, what do you think
Yeah.
of tonight's? Because usually you don't watch it. I think you've been looking for it on. I mean, the days have switched around because they've been avoiding football as well. But what
Yeah.
do you think about the product?
So today was my first, like, wouldn't say official because like I've recorded it in the past, but today I had like the heartbeat, like I had the nerves and stuff, like as if I were watching live golf. And it was fun. To me, the product, watching it fully finally was great. I think I think so. Emlu Jr. just kind of random.
Yes,
I think this,
yes,
yeah, this is their second time around for both these teams. Um,
yeah, but
Rory didn't
yeah,
play
correct.
the. I don't think Rory played in the first one because he was in Dubai or something, and he played this time,
Hmm.
right?
Yep, and Max was on um
For
the
Tom Kim,
the Jupiter Lynx, yeah, for Tom Kim, which he was in Hawaii the last time.
yeah. So, I think what really, like, made a statement for me was they looked at the shot tracer. Everybody was right by the screen. So they saw the yardage. They saw what it was kind of looking like as they were coming into the green or what they were doing as they were coming off the tee. So everybody knew what they were doing. Again, prior knowledge helps with expediting the play. They all knew the order. Then they were already assessing what was going on after they played. So, like when you missed the green, the whole team was already looking at the screen. Then they were all grabbing wedges and putters, whatever they needed for the short game area, and they were walking over. They were already assessing the scene. What it like
Yeah.
just simple common sense shit like that really, it hit for me because like the
Yeah, no
clock,
caddies, right? It's just the
right?
players making quick decisions.
The clock started immediately. As soon as they heard that ding, clock started. Producer guy was telling them, point at them. It's your go. It's your turn. Yep, you're up. Boom. And they were going. The only time where there was any kind of really heartbeat situation really was around the putting green. And that was because everybody was trying to help the team read the green. And even then,
Right.
felt like 15 seconds, 10 seconds were still left on the clock multiple times. So I'm super
Right.
excited about what this could be, and if they're gonna, expand it any, create more teams going forward for that next season.
Right.
But I don't want to get ahead of myself. You know what? I
No,
typically try to
I
do
think
that.
any format that can keep Tom Kim playing quickly, I think is a win, right?
Boy,
I mean, he's
he
probably the
still
most
set over the
deliberate
ball a
player
few
out
too many
there.
seconds. My
Say
lord.
that again.
He still set over the ball a few too many seconds longer than I would expect. But he started
Yeah,
his routine quicker though. He absolutely was boop, boop, boop. He was on it. So I'm happy for him.
a lot a lot less double looks. He would double check the shot a couple times and then get going. I think
Yeah,
it's a really and one thing that I really picked up on as well is just the camaraderie and just the players, the way that they intermingle with each other. They genuinely look like it doesn't look forced at all. They look like
right.
they're enjoying being out there and mixing it up. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves even at the end once the match concluded. The teams, really, seeing Tiger interact with people, seeing, of course, this different version of Tiger, a lot more accessible, as we've seen the last handful of years as well, that everybody
Truly.
seems to genuinely like to be around Tiger at this stage. He's not just the asshole, elitist that doesn't interact with others. He seems like he's really put his heart and soul into this bad boy. And I think that comes across very well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that part. Nobody's really stiff about this situation, and they all seem to be ready to make this thing work. Right? Typically, you
Yeah.
see a couple of dicks, in the group. I haven't seen that as of yet, right? And
Right.
you got a mix of players that keep it loose. Your kids, I think seeing Rory, Adam Scott's accent so strong, but it was just a good presentation tonight. I think
It
that they're going to
was.
blow the ratings out of the water. I can't wait to see those.
Agreed. 100%. I think
Yeah.
also I think it was cool because really I mean, well, first of all, Keegan and Rory on the same team. Um, and then Kiz is just these are just general observations. I mean, Kiz is
Yep.
just a personality on his own. He could really
Hmm.
commentate and really just be a hot mic or mic'd up for every round he plays, and that would
Right.
sometimes be enough.
Right.
He is that good. I mean, like one of the holes he was teeing off, he's humming and singing the song, just like your walk up song and stuff like that. He's going along with that. So like, just things like that. It's relatable. It's fun. It's some things that you would do as you were playing your round. I'm gonna walk up to the tee, and when me and you were playing, I have some light music in the background. I'll walk up and we'll be jamming, and then we'll just go on about our business and play the hole like it's nothing. I think that's
Yeah.
some really good stuff, some really fun stuff, and I think again that's just a positive mark that can keep going forward. Things that you could build off of.
Oh yeah, I think it's not a broken product. It doesn't completely seem disjointed. It's run well. I picked
Yeah,
up on the direction and the way that the guys, are getting moved around quickly during the playoff. Tigers team ended up taking the first kind of set of, the playoff. I don't know how to even phrase it. Their first attempt, they won it, and so they got to go back to back, like make it take it. And
yeah,
Adam Scott was ready to take his shot, and they kind of, hey, nope, it's theirs, really quick, and it happened
yeah.
like that, and you were like, okay, cool, and we were made aware of the rules really quickly, and they kept it moving, really, just well run. You can tell when
Hmm.
people are on their stuff and focused. I know they got started a little bit earlier today and kind of rolled into the Duke basketball game. But overall, just I think a quality product with stuff to build on. A little
Yeah,
bit of music infused in there could do better. Again, for the folks that are on site, there are a few improvements. So we'll see how it evolves. I think through 4 weeks, it's been an improvement. And to be real, just from a rating standpoint, they're already doing better than Liv is doing. So it's a totally different concept than we've ever seen in golf, and we've needed that, right? I thought, Liv thought that they were going to be bringing some form of a team format that we would care about. It's not the same.
Yeah,
It's still individual golf, traditional golf, and then you just kind of force the team concept. This is true team golf.
yeah,
So much to be expected from it, but also much room for improvement that they can keep building on this concept. Um, yeah, so that's really it from PGA Tours type stuff. Um, let's mention DP World Tour. I can't remember the kid's last name, that first and last name
Del
from DP World
Alejandro
Tour.
Del
Who
Rey.
is it? Del Rey. That's
Hmm.
what I thought. Um, I mean, I didn't watch much of it. It was a weird time. Again, just had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. I did catch the final round. How much of that did you get to watch?
Um, really, I caught the first couple of days on accident, just based off my ride. You know, my stupid sleep schedule and stuff like that. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
caught that
good.
on.
Yeah, I get TikToks at 1:30 in the morning from this guy.
Hey, man, relax. Anyways, so yeah, I thought again, I feel like DP World Tour has really been stepping up as far as conditions go. I mean, it's their Dubai swing, so all the courses are gonna really look good as it is, but I like the course. I liked how it's set up. They had some short par fours to, possibly set up a drivable situation or getting close and having a
Yep.
flick wedge and things like that. I mean, it was really scoreable, but yet the rough was penalizing. So you saw that a couple of times where you really were in jail and you kind of just had to chip back into the fairway. Marcus Armitage really he really was, leading it for probably 2.5 out of the 4 days. And then Alejandro Del Rey really had a nice little back nine going into Saturday, and then had a
Yeah.
hot Sunday, and just it was a two-horse race, from Saturday
And it
on.
wasn't
It
even and it wasn't really even that close on Sunday when I
it
was watching.
wasn't. It wasn't. If you watch like the start of it, so Del Rey is 16, Armitage is 14. They're playing in threesomes. The third guy was 9 under, already 5 shots back from second place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even really close, but um they continue to make a good product despite it being a blowout. So I'm very positive about what DP World Tour's got going. And hopefully they can just keep it going and get some more names out there, and get some more,
Right.
closely competitive tournaments to make it a little bit more watchable going forward. But I still think it was a
Yeah.
good situation.
Yeah, I think
Let's
they
see what
still,
they got.
similar to the PGA Tour. We had kind of a refresh, right? We're starting to get to know some new names, new faces.
Very true.
And we'll start seeing some repeat winners, see some of these guys sneak into the Ryder Cup, the last, third of a Ryder Cup team, and we'll become more familiar with them. Some of them will get some play, in some other events. I think this is where that um missing the World Golf Championships, the WGCs, comes into play, because we would get
Hmm.
a small taste of some intermingling. And yeah, they still do that near the end of the season now, where they have these kind of co-sanctioned PGA events mixed with the DP World Tour. But that's what we are missing out on, because we'd see some of these kind of intermingling more than a handful of times per year. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that I think we could benefit from, but it is what it is. We're golf junkies, so we're gonna catch it. And we both stay up late most of the time, so we see these rounds, these kind of obscure rounds, and I think Golf Channel needs to do a little bit better with their replay schedule as well.
Right.
Again, I'm sure Farmers Insurance is throwing a shit ton of money at them to get the coverage and kind of get the replays. It is, some value to that for farmers, but
Yeah.
I think again they could do a better job of replaying their schedule. Quick mention, I'm going to segue away from DP World Tour. we get the ladies coming back this week. Finally, it's been a long, it's been a long month of without the LPGA.
Mm.
But yeah, we get to see them back in action at their kind of tournament of champions. So I'm definitely looking forward to see who comes out hot this year early in their season and does the thing, and hopefully that they can repeat the momentum that they had going last year.
Agreed.
Um,
Matter of fact, let's see. Let's see what they kind of got going on. So they have, let's see, Tournament of Champions. And right after that, what's the next event that they got? Let's see. The very next week, Founders Cup. And then they
yeah.
got a week break. And then they're in Thailand. Just like that. They're across the country. They're across the world. Just
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
a
They
world
got 2
game.
weeks to.
It's a world game.
Yep. They're going to Thailand, then Singapore, and then China. And then they're going to take like a couple of weeks break, and then they'll be back stateside. Okay.
Well, perfect for our late night viewing, early morning. So,
Absolutely.
shout out to the ladies. Let's hit some live stuff real quick, and then we'll get into some equipment junkie. He's becoming one of
Yeah.
my favorite Instagrammers right now. On the live side, they bring in everything but true golfers. We saw the announcement earlier in the week that the quote unquote number one YouTube golf channel, Rick Shields, OG, been doing it for a long time, creating content. Kind of had to fall off. We went over that last week when we were going through the list of who's trending. Rick Shields is seeing a bit of a fall off in his content creation, or at least the eyes around it. But he signs a deal with LIV to create custom content for them and some kind of partnership. We don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, who's going to care? What is that? In there, yes, they've got the Fox partnership to get their eyes on, get on a major network at this stage. So kudos to them for that. I don't know how long they're going to keep going. This is a multi-year partnership. We still have some kind of inkling that there could be a merger at some point, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I said, who cares? I don't give a damn about
Right.
Rick Shields. Can y'all get a player? Can are y'all not able to steal players anymore? Are people under no illusions anymore about the live prospects that it doesn't do much for your career other than get you the bag that you
Yeah.
could
I
have
mean, I'm
gotten on
right.
the PGA Tour?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really just trying to understand like what angle they're trying to use Rick Shields for. He's not good enough to be a tour player. He doesn't teach anymore. He doesn't really do club reviews. The course vlogs have shown slowing down. I mean, he's not even really buddy buddy with Peter Finch anymore, which is like half the reason why I know who either one of those guys are. So I mean, is he going to be in the commercials for Fox Sports? What is the angle that they're trying to use Rick Shields for? I feel like, if they were trying to be funny and get more eyes from the casual golfer, I think they really should have tried to hone in more on the four brothers who we've talked about before. Those guys are literally freaking hilarious. And that's
They
your
are.
UK crowd right there. They've already been
Yeah.
out to some events. They've had the gear. Why not try to dig into them? Now, they might have already politely said no because, they got bigger and better things to do. But
No.
they're with
Okay, so
Callaway.
no. Look, cut you off. So they were heavily featured at the Dubai Desert Classic, right? So
Right.
there's some kind of when we saw them do something with Live Golf last year. So there's some type of partnership, and here's my take on why I think they went with Rick Shields. They're looking at the numbers that Rick Shields has from a subscriber standpoint, and they're like, okay,
On
he's the
YouTube.
biggest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. He's got 2.91 million followers or subscribers at this point. As we know, I mean, our following is tiny compared to that, clearly, but I can tell you that everybody's not active, right? People come and go, life gets in the
Right.
way. Um, Good by comparison has 1.7 million followers. Who's our other
Uh,
guy? That big teeth guy that everybody's giving burn to.
Big T,
Just got the Tacoma deal.
Grant Harback.
Okay, Grant. He's probably over a million at this stage, and we said that last year that he's just got one over a million followers. So he's getting there, and he's got multiple. I think he's got a couple different channels that he's mainly on his primary channel, but he was trying to do some teaching stuff once upon a time. But we said that last year that that would be their best bet is to get
Yeah.
with one of these young up and coming content creators and kind of get the younger crowd and really
Yeah.
just dominate that market would be their best play. I think this follows the trend of getting the older guy, getting the guy on the way
The
down.
washed up
That's
guy.
what
Yeah.
that's how I see this Rick Shields play. They got
Hmm.
him about 3 years too late. If they had gotten
Yeah.
Rick Shields right at the beginning, I think it makes a huge difference. Today I don't see it making a difference.
Yeah. I agree.
So we'll see. Um I mean, yeah, we'll see how they use him. I'm just interested. It's new changes for them. Another upcoming change that was announced today is Pat Perez is officially retiring from swinging the clubs, which we hadn't seen much from Pat Perez anyway since he joined LIV. I think he maybe had one good week out of all 3 seasons on this thing.
Yeah.
It's been a rough slog for him, so he's going to go into the commentary, on course commentary for LIV this season, and I'm sure that's to fulfill kind of anything contractually. And we'll see how he does behind the mic. Some people have a natural talent for that. We saw that with Kiz this past year. He was good in
Yeah.
the booth once he got his comfort zone down. I don't know. I've never heard Pat talk extensively. I mean, a handful of interviews here and there, but on course commentary is very different, right?
Yeah.
Some people can just kind of break through. They don't have a filter. They don't care that they've been cool with these guys before. And some people are really cautious about those relationships, really guarded. So we'll
Yeah.
see how it turns out. What do you think about Pat Perez? Are you gonna miss Pat Perez, bro? Seeing the Jordans?
Uh, right. I mean, to be honest with you, if you were to like casually just point out that that's Pat Perez, I probably wouldn't be like, oh yeah, 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 that's Pat Perez. I know who that is. Even though like he's like a taller, bigger dude, I still would just be like, oh, that's another guy. But yeah, I will say I
He
will miss
does
him.
look just like another dude.
Yeah, he just looks like a bro. He's got the flow going right now. He's but I will say I will miss the Jordans. The Jordan collection was always clean. I don't know how he got those exclusives like that, but to each their own. I think it's just going to be tough because I think he was always a little bit more unfiltered. I don't know,
Yeah.
and he's a little bit more of a natural talent. You know what I'm saying? Just really bats it around, gets it around the course. I don't know if he really has that analytical game because with Smiley Kaufman, even a Jerry Foltz type, Jerry Foltz knows, even though he switched up crazy, I don't know why. Um, had a really good thing going with it. I mean, he had a really good thing going with
You've always been
PGA
hurt by Jerry Foltz leaving.
because why would he leave? It just didn't make a lot of
I
sense.
know.
And now the LPGA is killing it, and now you on a no name list. Whatever. Anyways, we're not going to give him that much attention. But you know what I'm saying? Like he's not even. Who's to say if Pat Perez can be analytical about the game? Well, he's looking at about
Yeah.
a 140 shot, wind into. It's really going to play about a 152 shot. You know, in my day, that was a 9 iron. Da 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 da. Is he going to be able to do that, or is he going to be like, it's a 150 shot?
Yeah.
I think he probably should just hit a hard 9, but he might choke up on an 8 or something.
I
I don't know.
from what I know of Pat Perez, I think his best route is to keep it goofy. Um, he's never been a serious
Lighthearted.
type, somebody that, yeah, he's got to keep it there.
Yeah.
He's around a similar age as Tiger. Um, they both grew up in California, and clearly Tiger killed it. The
Yeah.
careers don't even compare. So to take him serious as a golfer who he never won a major, I mean, a handful of wins on the PGA Tour, but never a great. Somebody that you
Yeah.
knew, kind of, he reminds me very much of like a Charlie Hoffman type.
Yeah.
Really solid, but never just explosive. Struggled to be clutch in the end. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it evolves. Per always, per the usual, we're gonna give it a run. I'm gonna give them a chance to prove themselves and show that their product is improving. But
Yeah.
I'm still not a believer in the business model. I know how much they spent to get into this thing. I know a general number of the contracts that are outstanding, and I know that they have not brought in any money. And I think if the Fox deal actually benefited them, where they were getting paid for the rights to broadcast Live Golf, they would say that. I think this
Yeah.
is another kind of production deal where Live pays for the production and Fox benefits from the advertisement, whatever they get
Yeah.
from that. It's kind of a no lose for both, but I also feel like money's always outgoing from the Live side, versus this operating as a true business model. I'll get all these random alerts from kind of no name news sources. Oh, the High Flyers Fields team signed an apparel deal with Jack and Jill Sports. And I'm like, okay. I mean,
Right.
we're not talking about serious apparel companies. I mean, there's a handful mixed in there, but overall, the business model is not businessing. So, like I said, I'm gonna give them another chance. There's a few changes that they've implemented. We shall see.
Yeah.
You want to get go ahead,
Do you
and
think?
then we'll get
Do
into
you
this
think?
equipment junkie.
Do you think? Well, this. So, do you think? First of all, do you think Pat Perez needs to be on the self-deprecating side as he keeps it lighthearted? Do
100%.
you think
He
he?
needs to
Do
make
you
fun of
think he need?
himself as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they don't. I mean, they start in 2 weeks, man. They start in 2 weeks, and they're gonna do. They're gonna do
They're starting in the Middle East.
Saudi Arabia. They're doing night golf. 6:15 start time.
Oh
So
wow,
they're doing night golf, 9:15 our time. And as you said, they're all gonna be live. So whenever time it starts, it's 9:15 for us. Just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
bro.
They'll be going up against the
Okay, that's
what are
an
they going up
interesting
against?
twist.
They're going up against
I
the
don't know.
Genesis, so they're gonna get killed.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Genesis is not in
Oh,
its normal spot, so that
different time zones
yeah,
though. It's still
yeah, that's
it's still
true.
Tigers event
I
though.
don't know. Night golf is tricky because we it has not presented very well when they've done the matches at night. So we'll see. From a production standpoint, it may not come across the way that they are expecting. You have to add,
They're gonna
yes,
need
those
more
night golf
lights.
courses. Yeah, the night golf courses are cool, and I'm sure for regular play, that's fine. But for TV production, probably not sufficient. So they're gonna
They're
have to
gonna
do some
need
extra
more lights.
supplementation. Yeah,
It,
let's get it
for all
on.
the tracers that they want to do, um, the
Yeah,
music late night. They finishing at 10.
we'll
They
see.
finishing at 10:30, 11.
We'll see. Oh, I forgot to ask you earlier. Random. Um, Keegan Bradley mustache, the cop mustache. Yay or nay?
Terrible, terrible.
I
Also
feel
wanted to
even
say,
though it's filling in pretty nicely, but I think he should have waited until we got to the Ryder Cup. Should have waited.
right, exactly. I will say, unfortunately, Tiger. I mean, not Tiger, Keegan really showing that he's a dad. Everybody else, even kids, filling out the shirt. Keegan Bradley, he had the man boobs going. They were jiggling and
She
stuff on
got
the
the
camera. Rory, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, Tiger, shirt snug as hell. Boy, I mean, you seeing the pecs. They got the shoulders broad. And then here come Keegan Bradley walking up and doing his routine and
you know
stuff. Wow.
he had really gotten like tight a few years ago.
Right.
He
He
was
had
doing like
locked
the
in.
carnivore diet. Yeah.
He had locked in. We'll see. We'll
He's
see.
like
I mean, he
he's
probably
like,
he
nah, I'm
probably trying
going
to get
back.
back to it though. No, 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 no. I think he's trying to get back to it because he's trying to be a playing captain. So he's about to do a bunch of playing. He's about to do a bunch of
Okay.
traveling. I think he's going to try to lock back
Yeah, we'll
in.
see. Okay. All right. So this is has become one of my favorite Instagram pages, the Equipment Junkie. Really just dialed in on the latest and greatest, kind of what's going on in the PGA kind of landscape. So I'm sure also last week was the PGA merchandising show. So I'm sure there's a lot of info out there about that. And I want to say, like I said, his page has a lot of useful stuff, and we've reviewed it handful of times. And every time I see it, really impressive. But it looks like Avoda or Avada, I don't know how they pronounce that. This was the brand that Bryson is on, and it looks like they're now trying to get into the kind of mass marketing of these irons with the bulge face. The finishes are
Hmm.
cool. I mean, I don't know, traditional shape in terms of the iron. Um, but that bulge face, you can really see that prominently on the overhead view. What do you think about kind of I'm seeing a lot of different advancements with irons, which and a lot of different new irons coming out. What do you think about these bad boys?
Weird. I mean, just some brainiac stuff that Bryson would get behind for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, if the tech works, and that really doesn't, off put you with the eyes and stuff like that, and you get behind it, or if you have the money, because these are 3D printed stuff, then yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely invest in that, especially if it's going to help play easier golf. But as Rod will tell you, there is not much that can help me when I'm shanking the golf ball. It doesn't matter how much money I have or how much golf I want to play.
You- you- maybe bulge face and thin hosel. I don't know. Maybe
Right.
that's the way. That's the
The,
innovation.
the hosel is still going to present itself anytime it wants to. So, but yeah, no, it's a really good product. And then I mean, just to carry on with the iron production and the 3D printing, all in all, we actually had a merchandising visit from Cobra Puma. Our rep came out
Okay.
and we put some Cobra Puma in the shop as we usually do. We have a section for them, but he's their Cobra rep too, so he had some clubs in his trailer. Man, I will say the 3D printed in person, it really does look good. And he showed me a 7 iron. Top line looked like a
Mm-hmm.
CB. It didn't look crazy bulky. It looked really nice on the top line. Um, they had the blacked out version of the MB that Max was playing. Man, they have some really good irons coming out. Unfortunately, as he knows, and we all know, they're fourth or fifth in the rankings as far as you know club club making and
Well,
club sales and stuff like that.
yeah. But as we said, if Max has a good year, it can
And that's what I
jump the
alluded to with
profile up,
him.
right?
Yeah, for sure. That's why
Yep.
I said that was a big get.
And
He's very,
yeah.
prominent in social media, with the young cats and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he'll be a good stepping stone. Get him in front of like
Just a
Strickson,
quick
maybe
note.
get up there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Quick note on these because you were talking about the cost. So these irons for a full set of their same length is just under $1,400. So not
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
I
No,
mean,
that's reasonable.
it's at the top end.
$200 a
It's
club.
at the top end. Yeah, but I mean, we've seen worse. They're not mirrors, but I mean,
Right.
for for a boutique brand, and we're kind of seeing the same thing. It's new R&D. They're putting technology and research into this, so they have to recoup the money. But I mean, if they can pick up a couple of new players and have some success, I can see them blowing up. We're seeing again new stuff. We didn't think
Yeah.
irons had much to add, so let's keep it moving. So Nike, I think they're gonna have a solid. We saw that super hype video from the merchandise show, which I thought the young lady was like kind of overplaying what Nike was doing. Until they get back in the clubs, Nike Golf is never fully back to me. Just say that.
Correct.
So she was running around yelling Nike Golf is back until we see the oven come back. Nike Golf is just kind of in this state of strictly apparel. I think if this is any indication of the year, I this is them kind of finding their way back to some form of normal. We're gonna see
Yeah.
the Scotties. Um, they don't have them up here. The Pegasus, they're gonna continue. It's kind of they're doing the Pegasus like the same way that they did the Jordan 1 lows. Drop a cut, all the wild colors the next day, and
Yeah.
then the second year come back with kind of the more muted, some splattered paint, the gum bottoms. But I like these, and even
Yeah.
the Rochers for the waste management are the most tame and actually make sense. The last few years of releases for the waste management have been super garbage, um, like super garbage. But these are
Right.
actually decent ones. I actually I returned the version 2 years ago. It was so bad. And then these Air Maxes, you shared these with me. I've seen these, but every time I see them, they look better. I actually
Yeah.
think I'm going to pick up a pair of these. I haven't bought a new pair of golf shoes in a while, and I think I'm going to check these out. Even though
Same.
they do run a little bit thin. So I'm somewhat concerned about the width of them. But I'm going to check those out in store and see how they work out.
I just again, I want their mid-level to lower level price points to still have a spike option. It costs
Yeah.
hardly anything to make soft spikes, bro. And if you really want to make money and rake it in off of making some soft spikes, make them Nike exclusive to where, okay, if you need
Yeah.
these replaced, you got to go through Nike. And then you just have an easy peasy way to make money back. But like the Air Max
Yeah.
Plus, I
I
want
think
the
it's
Air
hard.
Max Plus to have
I
a spiked version.
Yeah, I think it's hard to compete with the likes of a FootJoy because there's just going to be a segment of golfers who are not willing to go spikeless. Even though I think spikeless
Right.
shoes are the best that they have ever been. They're at no other time have spikeless shoes
True.
been as reliable as they are today. There's still a segment of golfers that want spikes and rely on spikes, and I totally respect that. And so I do agree. I mean, there's only a handful of Nikes that still go with the you know, with some spikes. The tour, Infinity Tour that Rory plays. Um, Not even the damn ones. I think the ones that Brooks designs. The standard version doesn't have spikes, the traditional spikes, but I think he plays a version like a custom version. Um,
Yeah.
so and even the Air Force, the excuse me, Jordan ones that Tony Finau's been playing, he's got some soft spikes, but they're more aggressive than what we see on the retail version. So
Right.
again, put these out for the masses. I mean, clearly you can produce them. So let's keep it rolling. There's a lot of info here, so we'll not get bogged down. You mentioned the 3D irons from Cobra already, that they look good, so we won't beat
Yes.
the dead horse. So look this good. These look good. These are some renders of the
Yes.
irons. They looked really good in person, huh?
They looked really good in person. I mean, they putting KBSs in them, so it's not like they're, sparing on the shafts and stuff like that and customability of that. Um,
Mhm.
I was telling my co-merchandiser, Carrie, I was saying picked up the driver, or he, of course, he hands me the driver, the DS Adapt, and I'm like, the most customizable driver on the market right
Yeah.
now. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to tell him. And of course, the rep is being a rep. And he's like, 33 different settings. You can set this up for any golfer you want. And I'm like, okay, bro.
Yeah,
Like, I was going to get to
he
that,
went
but
into sales mode.
he went
Yeah.
into sales mode. But yeah, it really did present very nice in person. And I mean, not that we would ever carry, and that's kind of what I was asking him. I'm like, now, are you more of putting Cobra in shops with demos, or is this kind of like you're kind of, second tier, third tier, and you're doing custom orders only? And he says that he
Yeah.
has shops that he's in, but if it was from us,
Okay.
we're custom ordering it. We're not doing anything where we're
I
keeping it in the
think
shop.
I think they're. I mean, if they can get onto some days at some courses, I think that'll go a long way to get their
Right.
name
And
out
do
there.
some demo
I
days.
mean, and
Yeah.
of course, yeah, of course they're going to be in the big box stores. But I mean, you have to get fitters educated on how to get people well adapted to that. So,
Right.
I'll
Agreed.
be up in maybe a couple of years. We'll see what Cobra has. FJ, we haven't seen new FJ kind of redesign since 2021. Um, I mean, it's traditional. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but they've been riding the Premiere for a long time now. I mean, we're in year
Yeah.
4 of the Premiere. But so now all they can do is really drop new colorways.
They,
These I'm not feeling these. Gee,
yeah.
whatever.
It's you rock these with a couple of outfits. That's it. They
Yeah.
did bring the Hyperflex back. I think that's the shoe that JT's been rocking. I'm excited about that. We're supposed to be getting. I don't know if we're getting it in the shop, but I know I'm getting a pair. I have requested one, and I thought that it looked really good in person when we had our
Hmm.
rep meeting with FootJoy last, fall or whatnot. So hopefully it presents just as well when I get it in. I'll let you know,
Yeah.
of course. But yeah, they're doing a few small things that they're really trying. They know it's what you said. They know their audience for the premiere. They know what golfer wants that top dollar shoe with the spikes, that classic private club look or tour look or whatever. They have really done a good
Yeah.
job of getting their middle tier and lower end tier golf shoe elevated. It's still at a decent price point
Yeah.
between 110 and
I mean, they have.
130.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They have stuff all the way from the low 100s all the way up to 250 at this point,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
they're decent offerings, right? You get different versions of the leather. The premieres come with the 2-year warranty.
Yeah.
Um, the traditions are a little bit more of a. I forget the type of leather it is, but you only get a 1-year warranty with them, but they last forever too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
either way you go, you're getting quality really top to bottom on their lineup. Um, and anybody who's going, I mean, that's why they dominate and have been dominating forever at this stage. They've been able to adapt. They've got into the more athletic looks as well. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
you can't really hate on what FootJoy does.
You can't.
Another
Yeah.
Cobra Iron. This is their wedge lineup. We saw this with Max a couple weeks ago when we went over his what's in the bag. Won't stick
Hmm.
here. Again, I'm always interested in what they're doing with this little grind on the back of the kind of the relief part of the wedges. But um, like I said, we'll see how he performs with these. He put those
Yeah.
immediately in the bag. Um, the new TaylorMade. This is just a ball for the um, indoor range and for tracking. This competes with a TaylorMade, not TaylorMade, excuse me, with the Pro V1s that came out similar to this, where it doesn't require all the stuff on the clubs. So for you can have
Oh,
more information from the ball speeds and all that stuff. So it's just supposed to be able to give you more accurate data.
yeah, the CRT or whatever that Titleist dropped or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. This is Edel. I mean, they kind of remind me a lot of the Ben Hogan style irons in terms of just kind of very boutiquey. I mean,
yeah,
they always look good. Like this iron in the upper right hand side, like I kind of it's a clean iron. Like that iron sitting in your bag looks good. Like the from the back. Just kind of really clean, but again, not a lot of market penetration. But
yeah. They're
there they go.
completely
New clubs.
custom. They're completely custom.
Yeah.
Like you have to order directly from them. But I will say you go out to Austin or whatnot, and they take the time. They go through a full bag fitting if you want them to. I mean, remember they started out as putters only. So like
Mm,
our uncle used to have a custom Adele putter, and it was a blade, and it had like everything he wanted on it: the weights, the dot, the similar dot. So it was kind of like essentially he made it into a custom Scotty Cameron, essentially what Tiger was using at that time, or whatever, with the single dot
yeah.
alignment and shaft and everything like that. So yeah, I think it's still a good look, and I think that they still have an audience for them, and they're still locally sourced out in Texas. So just can't
Okay.
hate on that.
Um, quick note. This wedge shape is getting popular again. I know everything, comes back, but we saw similar shaping from the Cobra wedge a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago when we were reviewing that. So kind of, I call it the spoon shape, very rounded, a lot of toe, coming back in style for whatever reason.
yeah.
Um,
Forgiving,
so
more
anyway,
spin. And now
yeah,
with the tech behind weighting and stuff like that, it allows for them to go more up the face and still have some pop and not lose that distance if they catch it high on the face and stuff like that.
yeah. Forgiveness being built into every club throughout the bag.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing new here. We've gone over the new Callaway lineup. I'm not gonna stick around. What was the note on
Mm-mm.
here though? Um, it's just their fairway. I'm not again, and it looks like they have a new shaft offering. Never heard of this brand. We'll see how it performs. I've never heard of this brand. I sent you this putter because that's the thing that caught my eye out of this. This is the cleanest looking ping putter. I don't know, man. The high end finish on this thing to me, it just blew me away. I just think it's a really sharp version of this putter. Not a lot of, I mean, you can just tell the machining on this was really well done. Um, and I know it's got the premium price tag on it as well, but um, it had me wanting to look at a new putter. What do you what do you think about these PLD ping putters, man?
Yeah, man. The PLDs. I mean, you really can't hate on a ping putter. Ping is for the longest. Ping was really up there with Scotty and Toulon and all those upper echelon putting companies for a mid-level price, and you would get the
Yeah.
same results. And I felt like the face was just as receptive or soft and muted and stuff like that that I really enjoyed. I still have two ping putters in the closet just in case if anything goes crazy. So I will never give up on ping putters. I've always loved them.
I I feel like with this type of production, they can command whatever price. This is competing. This type of quality competes with Scotty. You can charge
Yeah,
whatever you want to
PLD
with
is a four
with
hundred dollar
this.
putter. So
Yeah. Again, another one. Again, this is kind of more the traditional style that we've seen, you know. Um,
yeah,
this is more this is kind of bread and butter ping, but
Yeah.
just a new design. We're seeing a lot of new interesting designs in putters, so we'll see over the next few years how putter designs go. I think people are trying out some interesting stuff, messing with the vision and kind of where your eye lines go.
Yeah, a lot of concept stuff, a
Painter.
lot of stuff. I know. I meant to talk to you about them because I was thinking about they have a really sleek looking shoe, man. I think that might be worth spending some money on.
Yeah. I haven't seen the price point on these. What do you have you checked those
Expensive.
how much these are cost?
Expensive.
Let me
Yeah, I
see.
think
Let me
on
look
the
it up.
low end, like 180s into the 220s, 240 type deal. Essentially, like to me, like a cooler G4, if you can even say that. I would say that's kind of like their price point.
Let's see here. Men's golf shoes. From a third party retailer, I already saw like $219 for a basic shoe.
I'm telling you, bro.
I mean,
See,
it does. They do have spikes though. That's the thing.
exactly.
Um, yep,
The bottom left
220,
looks clean.
200.
Top right. Mhm.
Their spikeless are going for about 180, 160.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's about the going rate for shoes these days. You can't, I mean, I'm not going to crap on them, especially if they're reliable, but it's a different look, right? We don't see this design. So anybody that's coming out with something new, um, kind of cutting edge, I can dig it. So maybe worth
Yeah.
trying out. Do some new shoe reviews in 2025. Let's see here. Okay, so this is interesting, right? So Vice Golf, direct to consumer with the golf balls is how they got started. They've been really releasing a lot of different stuff over the last handful of years outside of their golf balls. So I was a big fan of their golf balls early on. It was a good deal, high quality balls, performed very well. They started releasing apparel, and then they've moved into wedges last year. Released a set of irons. So this is the first set of woods that we've seen from Vice Golf. I mean, first go round, I wouldn't be willing to risk my strokes on woods from a company. So we'll have to
Right.
see how the performance shakes out. I'm sure my golf spy is going to they're starting to get into their testing season. So we're going to see them put stuff on the robots and see it perform. I hope this is one of them. It looks the looks are cool, man. I mean, they're stealing elements from different, club makers or whatnot, but
Thank you.
it's a pretty sleek looking wood, What do you think?
That's exactly what I was saying. I feel like they just took some aspects from everybody, just so they don't get in too much trouble with one particular company. Um,
A
I
little
don't
bit of
know.
here, a little bit of Callaway, a little bit of
Yeah.
Ping.
If you look at the top right one, that's really what's killing me. I don't know if I could present it by the ball on the tee box and be okay to still be able to see that circular ring that's on the face.
Mm,
That is, if that was not visual to me, if I could not see that, I could see myself maybe gaming that. But the top line, I don't know. I'm so into just like a classic look. I'm a
yeah, you
mentalist.
like the
I'm a mentalist.
I know you said you like just the shiny black, the traditional driver head.
Yeah,
This is definitely different, and it's hard to tell because the loft could be something crazy, but it looks like it all presents with the shut face, as well down by the
draw
ball. I
bias
don't know.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm interested in how it performs, and real
Right.
testing.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything like what happened
Um,
with the Costco stuff, then yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna review the. I mean, we've gone over all these new Scotty putters multiple times, so
Yeah.
keep it moving. Let's see. And this is just some interesting kind of stuff. Let's see.
Custom stuff.
These McGregor irons, bro. McGregor ain't been around in a long time, but I mean, they take some cues from those Avoda irons. Kind of have the 3D printed deal, the look of them, right? But
Yeah.
McGregor back in the golf game. I mean, again, everything comes back around.
I think if you're European, they never really disappeared. I think that's more of like a kind of how like
Okay.
Strixon is big in Europe and stuff like that, but not
Okay.
over here. McGregor's kind of like that. Like if you talk to a UK guy right now, like they'll be like, "Oh, McGregor," and whatever. But I think McGregor is still
Okay,
pretty big over there.
Marcus.
I
They
promise.
sounded Scottish, but okay. I was intrigued by these Bridgestone irons, man. These look clean,
I know,
man. These
man. The CB was calling my name as soon as they even and Gotterup's had them since last fall. He's been playing them. He's been gaming
really.
them. I'm actually surprised that they released so late because I don't know if they'll be able to get Freddie Couples. Freddie Couples is really on those Bednardi irons, so we'll see, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. He's been flirting around with other people. I want to say Bridgestone picked the wrong partner to kind of they picked the wrong spokesperson for their brand. They had Matt Kuchar in their corner forever, and that was a fatal mistake. They just didn't
Especially as
know it.
far as irons go. Yeah, unfortunately.
But dang,
Now
these things
there
look
are a
good. And you're right.
few.
That there are a
There's
few
an
what?
LPGA. There's an LPGA golfers that play Bridgestone clubs. But
Okay.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't like Furia.
that square top on that CB is so sexy, man. Ah,
I'm
man. It's
telling you. Ugh.
uh and then some new golf bags. Okay. Yeah, man. Go follow this page if you're on Instagram. They have some really good stuff and um yeah, I agree, Andy. I didn't see this one. That painter shoe is really, really nice. Um, yeah, man, I'm excited about a lot of the golf stuff that's coming out. We're seeing some innovation, and brands that are kind of dipping their toe in the water. So, it was getting stale for a couple of years. We were just seeing
Yeah.
pretty much the same style of irons. Everybody had the hollow bodies, and there wasn't much, difference that was coming out between them. So to see some innovation and changes, but again, I get the latest and greatest and stay ahead of it with the Equipment Junkie. Not affiliated, just a page that I really have enjoyed following. Um, just kind of to nerd out on the new stuff that's coming out. So anyway, what else you got, man? Before we call it a day, we're already an hour and 17 into this thing.
Yeah, the only thing I got is tennis, Australian Open. Shout out Ben Shelton for making the semis. Deepest run that an American man has made in quite some time. Madison Keys won the Australian Open, went on one of the greatest runs that you will ever see, took out five straight ranked opponents, was the
Mm.
underdog in four out of the five. The only person that she outranked was Alina Svitolina, which is Gail Monfils's wife, and she was only a few ranking points lower than her, and she had been on a tear as well. So Madison Keys has now officially won 11 or 12 matches in a row. Won Adelaide coming in, kept it going in Australia. So yeah, big shout out to American tennis. Just something that I was really keeping up with. 9 p.m. to that 1 o'clock range and stuff like that. So yeah, American tennis is trending again. Don't know if it really ever left for the women, but the men seem to be coming back. So yeah, that's all I got. Mavs hanging around. The Cowboys stink. Made another bad decision just to appease somebody and just one person, but whatever, man. We're not
Uh,
gonna get into that.
no, no, we couldn't have got anybody better. It is what it is. I don't know if you already saw it yet, but it was a post from Instagram, and it said uh, Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts both were born, grew up,
Don't even
went to
remind me.
college, got drafted, and have all been and both been in the NFC Championship game before the Cowboys since they last have done it. That's
Yep.
a crazy stat. So I think we'll
Embarrassing.
wrap up on that. It is embarrassing. Bearder Bros Golf Show. All the leagues are back in play this coming up week. I'm excited to see the Pebble. Excited to see the ladies back in play. DP World Tour going strong, coming back like 19. No, well, when were the prime years of DP World Tour? 2015 prime DP World
Yeah.
Tour.
Yeah. Nike Tour
Before that,
days,
when
Nike
Sevi
Pros.
back to when Sevi was playing before that. So yeah, they're making their resurgence. We're gonna have to read pull back the old name. They're going to have to go back to the European tour. So
Thank you.
we'll be back at it again next week. Bitter Bros Golf Show. I am Rod.
And I am Marcus.
Peace, y'all.